A leader who God sent to the African people to liberate African people. And now they are planning, of course, to eliminate him. God save Ibrahim Traore. God save Captain Ibrahim Traore from the hands of the imperialists. Because this is what they did. When they realized a man called Thomas Sankara in that country called the Land of the Upright Man was standing firm for his people to eliminate hunger and starvations, develop that country called Burkina Faso, they eliminated him. And us the African, we are watching. Let the Africans stand firm and of course support this man called Ibrahim Traore, because he's a true son of Africa. Even the way he speaks, the way he talks, the way he moves, is an African. These are called African. But of course, what is ECOWAS doing? In 2011, Gaddafi was executed. He was killed in cold blood. When Gaddafi was building a state, and of course, allowing the poor Libyan to go and reside in that place. The Europeans don't want to see that, but they have to eliminate him. We have to stand firm and unite our country, because Africa is for the African. No European power will come here and bring development in Africa. It's us ourselves. One after the other, they are after our leaders. One after the other, they are eliminating them. When African United States stands aside, and watch Gaddafi being liquidated in 2011. Sad it was. Stripped naked, was tortured, was beaten, and finally gone on his head, and he died. Thinking that eliminating Gaddafi will bring peace in Libya. Look at what is happening in Libya right now. People are running hell and skelter in search for peace. Look at what the Europeans are doing in Africa. And now, they want to wipe out Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. A leader who came through coup d'etat and bringing development in that country called Burkina Faso, the land of the upright man. They want to kill him because for that man, he is a Pan-African. He is a patriotic. He is a philanthropist, a true son of Africa. A leader who God sent to the African people to liberate African people. And now they are planning, of course, to eliminate him. God save Ibrahim Traore. God save Captain Ibrahim Traore from the hands of the imperialists. Because this is what they did. When they realized a man called Thomas Sankara in that country called the Land of the Upright Man was standing firm for his people to eliminate hunger and starvations, develop that country called Burkina Faso, they eliminated him. And us the African, we are watching. Let the African stand firm and of course support this man called Ibrahim Traore, because he's a true son of Africa. Even the way he speaks, the way he talks, the way he moves, is an African. These are called African. But of course, what is ECOWAS doing? The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, I am calling these organizations to watch and of course to talk to the European imperialists not to interfere in African politics, because Africa is for the Africans. But of course, sad it is. ECOWAS as an organization entrusted with the power or with the mandate to look for the interests of the West African people is not doing anything regarding this issue. How many coups attempt to kill this upright man? When the Europeans are terrorizing him, bringing terror and fear into that country, what is ECOWAS doing? Nothing, absolutely. I'll call West African head of state and African head of state at large. And the best time is now. Tell the European imperialists, we are tired of neo-colonialism because our people have been enslaved for 400 years. And now we are ready to develop our country called Africa. We are ready to develop our continent called Africa. We have to learn history. But the only thing that we have learned in history is we have learned nothing in history. We are watching. Us, the younger ones, we are ready to die together with Captain Ibrahim Traore because he's a true son of Africa, a leader of course. We will see to it that he remain in power and of course salvage Africans. Because if not, our children who are yet to be born, whenever they are born and they grow up, they will question. They will question us for failing to develop our continent, for failing to develop Africa for them. Hands off Africa. European imperialist. Since Africa becomes the largest continent in the entire universe, the African people were living happily in their homeland, governing themselves or administering themselves without any problems. The European powers came into Africa 1884-1885, divided Africa into 54 odd nations, and they introduced their system of administrations, colonialism. The first coup d'etat in West Africa happened when Silvano Olympio was executed in 1963. Coup d'etats were frequent in Africa. Great African leaders were killed by the Europeans.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. You can also comment and mention where you're watching us from.
Any African leader who stands to fight for her country, they eliminate that leader. Silvano Olympio was killed, was executed in cold blood in his home country, defending the sovereignty of his state, and was executed by the European powers. They did not stop there. They attacked Patrice Emery Lumumba, was also killed in cold blood. The Belgians came and killed him in cold blood. This is the Africa that we have. Any African head of state that call for a united state of Africa is eliminated or wiped out. European powers, they never want to see Africa unite, to live under one government, to have the same currency, to speak the same language, to develop their country. Because for them, they want Africans to continue begging. This is their sole intentions. European nations. Amilcar Cabral was executed, was killed by the European powers. They instigated his people against him and was killed. Kwame Nkrumah was ousted from power, was killed. Many African people were killed. Thomas Sankara, of course, for 2 years, ruling his country, the land of the upright man, Burkina Faso, was killed. They instigate his own friend, Blaise Compaoré, to go and eliminate him in cold blood. Because for Thomas Sankara was campaigning to develop that country. That was his intention now, to bring development in Burkina Faso. He was engaging in the construction of road, bringing development, but he was killed by his own people. When the French instigated, the people of Burkina, they used their arm and killed Thomas Sankara. And of course, they did not stop there. Gaddafi was killed in 2011, European imperialists, because they realized in Libya there's natural resources. They are blessed with gold, silvers, oils. The land was blessed with natural resources. Gaddafi had 200 banks across the globe and more than 200 sub-branches. And the Europeans owed him, and they have to eliminate him, of course. This is the Africa that we have. An Africa where an African head of state stand and say, no to European imperialism, no to Western concept or ideology. The head of state is eliminated. They'll bring fear, they'll bring chaos and violence. Look at Sudan. Look at what is happening in that country called Sudan. Women are running health and skelter, carrying their babies on their backs and running in search for peace. That should not have been in Africa. Africa is for the Africans. A sad country called Gambia we are living. In 1965, we attained our political independence with the hope that we are going to benefit from our natural resources, with the hope that our citizens or Gambian citizens are going to attend schools, with the hope that Gambians are going to have standard medical facilities with medical equipment, with the hope that Gambia is going to enjoy greatly from her natural resources. Kairaba Jawara fought for this. For several years, he was fighting for the independence of the Gambian people. He died, of course, as an elder statesman. But today, as I'm speaking, look at the Gambia that we have at hand. Look at corruptions and bribery in this country called Gambia. We are living in a country gone mad. Corruption in each and every sector in this country called Gambia. High rate of corruption. A country that tolerates and accepts corruption is not going to move. Gambian citizens enjoy low standards of living from the hands of our politicians. Sad indeed it is. All our sectors in this country are not advancing in the right direction. How many industries do we have here in this country called Gambia? When Gambian citizens will be educated, no job for them at all. Poverty and starvation in this country called Gambia. That's why election time, they'll be visiting house to house, village to village, requesting our vote, giving us false promises. And then come, when they win elections, they'll turn a blind eye to the Gambian people, thinking that Gambians are fools. We have to say no to that as Gambians. E.F. Small in 1929 formed a trade union, Batos Trade Union. No taxation without proper representation. Gambians must not pay tax until when they know where their monies were spent. And I believe Gambian also should start to use that slogan, no taxation without proper representation. We should not pay tax until and unless we know how our money has been spent by the Gambian government. When our politicians are sick, they go all the way to United States of America, US, India for treatment. But when you and I are sick, there's no medicine for you and I. Go to our hospitals and see. The last time I visited a particular hospital, I went there with a patient. There is no oxygen. Imagine, in Gambia. There is no nebulizer for the asthmatic patient in that hospital. It is a risk to live in this country as of now. When we have in private hospitals with medicines and equip what of our public hospitals, how many of you or how many of us Gambian we can afford these private hospitals? How many? The best time to wake up from the slumber is now. But sometimes I wonder, what is wrong with the Gambian people? In fact, we vote more when our leaders are failing to bring development. That is the time that we vote more. During election or before election, they will come and provide us with cooking pots, bag of rice, and then we sell our vote. Look at how this country is moving, but we will never talk. Most of these politicians are there for their own pocket. Even their children are not attending our own government schools. It's unfair and unjust. Private vehicles is what they drive. Private vehicles. Look at their salary. Look at their per diems. No concern for the average Gambians. Their concern is solely on their family. We give them 3 vehicles. We fuel their vehicles for free.